You ever have one of those moments when your life just goes off the rails because of a neighbor with way too much time and money? Well, let me tell you, if you've ever wondered what happens when a self-appointed queen bee decides your workshop is a personal insult to her property values, buckle up. I'm about to walk you through the wildest 2 months of my life, and you better believe every word. Uh, it started with Dolores. Yeah, I'll say her name because if you ever run into a woman like her, you'll want to spot the signs early. Picture the morning sun just barely up her Range Rover sitting out front like a warning sign. And me, a guy who spent years turning scrap metal into art, thinking life was finally normal after a messy divorce and a couple years hustling just to keep my head above water. My workshop. That place isn't just my bread and butter, it's my therapy, my sanctuary, my personal monument to hard work and second chances. Now, before Dolores, nobody cared what I did in that garage. No HOA, just a street full of regular folks minding their own business. I'd spend hours in there welding, grinding, shaping metal into these sculptures that people would actually pay good money for. Some even went to local galleries. My old neighbor Arnold would stop by, bring a six-pack, tell me stories about how he once managed half the buildings in this county before retiring. He respected the hustle. So did everyone, really, until Dolores rolled up like the new sheriff in town. She made her entrance like she was leading a parade, luxury cars movers in white gloves and her in a pantsuit sharp enough to cut glass clipboard clutched in one hand, and this looked like she was sniffing something foul. She did a slow-motion scan of the street, and when her eyes hit my workshop, I swear I heard thunder. Next morning, 7 on the dot, doorbell rings. Dolores standing there, letter in hand, like she's about to deliver a summons. "You the owner of that facility?" She asks like she's the mayor. "You mean my workshop?" She launches into this monologue about community standards, city codes, neighborhood aesthetics, you name it. Hands me a document typed, organized, color-coded, demanding everything from limited hours to painting my building beige. I'm standing there in my pajamas, coffee barely kicked in, just trying to process. "Ma'am, I've been here 2 years. I follow all the city codes." She gives me this smile, cold practice like she's rehearsed it in the mirror, then says, "City codes are just minimums. You've got a week to comply." Fresh perspective. And then she struts off like she just handed down a royal decree. You ever get that gut feeling that someone's about to make your life miserable? Yeah, I knew it right then. Every day after that, a new letter in my mailbox, complaints about noise, made-up claims about sparks, warnings about declining property values, threats of appropriate action. None of it stuck legally, but it ate at me. Lost sleep. Even lost a commission when a client bailed after Dolores blocked my driveway with her Range Rover by accident right when he was supposed to pick up a sculpture. $3,000 gone just like that. Arnold just shook his head. He'd seen her type before. Said she did the same thing to the Hendersons down the street until they sold at a loss and moved out. Things escalated. Police showed up over noise complaints in the middle of a Tuesday afternoon, mind you. Officer tells me, "Maybe just warn your neighbors next time you weld." Meanwhile, Dolores is standing at her window grinning like she just won a prize. Clients hear about issues in the neighborhood, start ghosting me. Bills pile up. I'm not sleeping. I'm pissed, sure, but more than anything, I'm feeling trapped until Arnold, the old building manager, gives me the push I need. He tells me she's counting on you to play defense. Time you went on offense. And let me tell you, that stuck in my head. Dolores must have spent days watching my patterns, waiting for the perfect moment. The day I finally get a call from a new client, someone who wants an $8,000 custom sculpture. I step outside for better reception, 5 minutes tops. In that window, Dolores strikes. Security camera caught it all. She drives her Range Rover right into my workshop, not near it, inside it. Leaves a note on my workbench, written like a wedding invitation. "Since you won't respect community standards, I'm helping you secure your property." Then she calls 911, claims I trapped her car. Police arrive within minutes. Dolores spins a story about storm warnings and helping me move my car for safety. Says I gave her a key. I never gave her a key. She's lying through her teeth, but standing there calm, composed, while I look like the lunatic. Officer tells us to work it out like neighbors. Dolores says she'll move her car when the weather clears. I feel like I've stepped into a Kafka novel. Sitting in my workshop that night, Arnold beside me, I show him the footage. Dolores didn't just cross a line, she pole vaulted over it. Arnold grins. You're a metal artist, right? She just gave you free material. He pulls out printouts about property abandonment law. After 24 hours, I can secure anything left on my land. Suddenly, I'm not a victim. I'm a creator with an unwanted $80,000 centerpiece, and I'm mad enough to do something about it. Next morning, I plan every step like a professional job. I measure the space, sketch out designs, prep my tools, weld anchor points to the floor. This isn't vandalism, it's art. I'm transforming her Range Rover into an installation called Consequences. Steel bars, mesh panels, everything welded solid. I post legal notices, photograph every angle, draft an artist statement. By sundown, her SUV is a glittering, inescapable centerpiece, secure, beautiful, and completely unmovable. Before I leave for a 2-week creative retreat, yeah, I needed it. I set up an email autoresponder. Thank you for your interest in my work. I am currently on a creative retreat. My latest installation, Consequences, is on display at my workshop. Arnold promises to keep an eye out. I fly out with peace for the first time in months. Meanwhile, Dolores discovers her car encased in steel at 7 a.m. She panics, calls the police, calls City Hall, calls a locksmith. Everyone gives her the same answer. It's an art installation on private property with proper notices. The tow company laughs. Ma'am, we don't do demolition. The locksmith tells her, lady, you need a welder, not a key. She tries legal threats, but her own lawyer says she's got no case. She trespassed and left her car. Neighborhood starts buzzing. People come by to see the installation. Mrs. Miller, who's lived here forever, says good for him. She's been terrorizing us since she got here. Kids post TikToks. Hashtags trend. Local news swings by. Dolores Queen Bee turned caged canary loses her cool completely. She's not just outnumbered, she's outclassed and outmaneuvered. Arnold, meanwhile, collects stories from every neighbor. The Hendersons Skype in to share how Dolores drove them out. Turns out Dolores has a pattern. She goes after anyone who doesn't fit her vision. Cultural decorations, kids' sidewalk chalk wind chimes, all violations. At the next community meeting, Dolores comes in swinging, waving legal threats. Arnold cues up my security footage, clear as day, her driving in, leaving the note calling the cops on me. The room goes dead silent. Then the stories flood in, neighbors detailing years of complaints, bullying, isolation tactics. The community votes almost unanimously Dolores has to stop, and I get full support to keep working. Her power dissolves. My workshop goes from black sheep to neighborhood treasure open studio days and all. When I get home, it's like a parade. Arnold picks me up grinning. Neighbors throw a barbecue. Even local news comes back for the unveiling. Dolores finally hires a pro to cut her car, free costs. Her thousands takes half a day. Whole neighborhood watching like it's the Super Bowl. And when she tries to start the car, the battery's dead. Of course it is. I stroll over with jumper cables. That'll be $200. Crowd loves it. Dolores sits in her dead Range Rover, the whole block celebrating around her. Kids sell lemonade, but not to her. That moment goes viral. Roadside assistance finally jumps the car for another fee in front of cameras with Dolores wilting in the heat. She moves out a week later. No goodbyes, no apologies, just gone. The for sale sign might as well have been a white flag. Afterward, everything changes. People come together, community cookouts, art classes in my shop, mutual support. Arnold steps up as an unofficial leader, helps keep us organized. The workshop becomes a gathering place. The place Dolores tried to crush, now a symbol of neighborhood pride. I get more commissions than I can handle. People love the story of Consequences, both as art and as justice. And me, I learned that the right kind of creativity beats intimidation every single time. Sometimes you let a bully dig their own hole and you turn that mess into a masterpiece. Next time someone tries to push you around, remember you've got more options than you think. So, what about you? Ever had to outsmart a bully? Drop your story below. Let's see whose neighborhood drama tops this one. And don't forget, justice is better when the whole community gets a piece of it.